How's it going, everyone? My name is Maximilian, and you're watching episode 37 of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Online Warrior. What's up, guys? Max here, and we're back with the hypest fighting game around. So, EVO's concluded. We had a brief discussion in the last episode that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is going to receive no more future iterations of the game at all from this point forward. Finito, it's done, and it totally sucks. However, it doesn't totally suck, totally, as weird as that sounds, mostly because that this game is evolving very fast. Over the past few weeks, and notably during the Evolution tournament, there was a lot of secret technology that was exposed by some of the more notable higher-end players of the game. They were explaining some of these things about how certain escapes work, how certain combinations of other special moves with other moves work, and over the past week or two, we've seen a few videos about this technology kind of erupting. A couple of the most notable ones is the Kubota, I think it's pronounced, escape glitch, and the recent, I think this other one is I think you consider it like a grab glitch. It's like a grab damage reset glitch. So I'll briefly explain a few of these, but since I didn't find these, I would prefer you guys, if you want to check out exactly like how they work in a video form, you can follow the links in the description below for the Kubota escape and the grab glitch. But actually, I think it's actually a capture state glitch, but nonetheless, the Kubota escape is interesting, and it actually might end up being practically useful down the line. We're already seeing the infinites, the TAC infinites, actually be put to use. If you guys are watching some of the Wednesday night fights that have happened since EVO, a few guys have actually landed the infinites fairly consistently and landed until they KO'd a character, so they are very possible to do, and some characters make it a lot easier to perform like Sentinel, so it's just one of those things, man, that you're going to have to make adjustments for down the line. But with this Kubota escape, when you have characters that do things like fill the screen, some really effective and really annoying supers that fill the entirety of the screen, it can be really hard to escape and it can be really hard to block. I know for anybody that has used Wesker or has gone up against Wesker or Amy or Virgil, you've gone through the big issues of trying to block like Maximum Wesker, Virgil's multiple sword swipes, and Amy's Okami shuffle, and it can be difficult to deal with that stuff. The thing that's happened, though, is that this Kubota escape allows you to leave the screen temporarily for a brief period of time and actually be completely invincible. Like, your character goes away and your next character will not come in. How this happens, and I'll do my best to describe it if you guys have not checked out the video yet, is doing this during the super flash of the other person actually activating their super. That's when, like, you know, you hear it go ching and the super flash happens. During this moment, you actually have to input, I think, a super of yours, like, and you can DHC your next character in like you normally would, but you have to like input some crazy command, like a snapback at this point. I might be describing it a little bit odd, but essentially what this does is it throws your one character out and your next character doesn't come in. Now, this seems powerful because this puts you outside of the screen until their super is done, because it treats it like there's no character on the screen, and you know, as you guys have seen, if you KO a character and you do a super, the game's gonna wait for the super to finish, and then the next character will come in. And that's how it's treating this escape. But it is situational. It isn't the end-all be-all for, like, you know, Maximum Weskers and full-screen Virgil super or hyper moves. What it means is that, or how you activate it, is when you have one character that is dead, you have two characters on your team now that are alive and one that is not, you actually are given the ability to perform the Kubota escape. So that's the issue, is that you can't do it at any given time. You actually need one dead character because the game actually, for some reason, thinks that you're trying to tag in your dead character, and then it realizes, oh, wait, their dead character can't actually come in because they have no HP, and it sends that character back in. So it's kind of funny to see, like, Dr. Doom tag himself out, and then the guy's super ends, and then Dr. Doom comes back in at the end, and he's just fine. It's interesting because it does allow you to make things a lot easier to deal with, because a lot of the time after the super ends, the recovery time from like Virgil and Wesker and Dante and any of these guys that have these big full screen supers, they have a lot of recovery at the end, and that gives a lot of these folks that will perform the Kubota escape a chance to jump in, dash forward, and punish them right before they're able to recover. So it would make you forcefully use X Factor or have to DHC or something like that, essentially wasting meter. So it can be pretty powerful. It's hard to set up because it is situational. It is extremely cool to look at. I do implore you to check out that video below. The next one that's been happening is this like it's a capture bug. Essentially, in certain capture states, if you combine with certain special moves while you're in a capture state and you continue the combo, for some odd reason, that remainder of the combo from that point forward will have no damage scaling. You'll do regular damage at that point forward. One of the better examples of this was a guy using Deadpool, and Deadpool's capture state special move is his Bolo, which is performed in the air by doing Fireball forward and heavy and pressing heavy twice to activate the Bolo. By doing this, you can't ignore hit stun scaling, but you can reset the damage, essentially keeping the combo going, but doing a ridiculous amount of damage. This combo ended up being Deadpool on point, and he used the assist of Sentinel, and by the time the combo was over, he was doing near 1.3 million damage, and I think had only used 1 bar. Something incredibly crazy like that. It was very effective, and it means that Deadpool can essentially become a touch of death character, albeit, it requires a few teleports and does require you to have a little bit of dexterity with Deadpool. What happens during this and how it effectively takes place is that when the capture state happens on a character, if you take an assist character like Sentinel's drones, which is one of the best in the game, if those drones happen to fall onto the captured character, like if they were stuck in a web ball, if they were stuck in a Bolo, and they fall into the drones, and then you hit them immediately after, for some reason it appears that the game just resets the damage. So this can be extremely powerful. Some of you guys might remember the DHC glitch from the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which actually reset damage and ended up being a touch of death for almost a very large majority of the cast. Well, that is kind of a thing of the past, and people learned to work around that, and now we have touch of death characters for so many members of the cast now that you almost don't need the DHC glitch. What's kind of cool about this, and I kind of like about it, is that for the characters that have capture state special moves, like I was saying, like Spider-Man and Deadpool, and I think Rocket Raccoon even, it can make things very interesting for these characters down the line once people start to actually figure out some technology. I absolutely wish I could be that guy to figure out the technology and sit in the lab, but those are left to the experts of the fighting game engine. And essentially, it's my job to report this to some of you guys and to make their voices and their names well known, and you can check out their videos. But yeah, man, I think it's kind of cool that these few characters that have these capture states could actually end up being very useful because of this gigantic oddity. Like, it's so weird. Like, after games have been out for a while, you start to really figure out things. Like, I remember when Street Fighter 4 was first around and folks started to initially learn how to do option selects, and that ended up being one of the most powerful things in the game. It's crazy to think that back in the day with Capcom vs. SNK2, I was around when people started to learn how to do roll canceling, and that ended up taking a very dominating factor of the entire game. Now, there's a lot of glitches in fighting games. There's a lot of weird bugs and oddities that come with fighting games. And depending on how popular the game is and how many people are playing it is how fast you're going to find something. And that's why it took so long back in the day to find any of these crazy oddities. It took years to find them in old fighting games because we didn't have the internet to share that information, and a lot of the people that knew about it either kept it in a very close proximity of friends or to themselves so they could win money at tournaments with it and would never tell anybody about it. And that age of secrecy is unfortunately gone. I think that was a very cool day and age of the fighting game community when you saw something that you had never seen before, and there was a trove of people trying to dissect and figure out what was going on, and you would have to share like videotapes of like a recording of it actually happening so you can see it happen, and it was pretty neat. But it's different now, and it just goes to show that Ultimate Marvel 3 is growing up. These things are being discovered almost every week now, and I think with EVO and a lot of the big players competing, this stuff got leaked out soon after because a lot of folks at EVO were talking about it. And a lot of folks have been on the discovery looking for things like this to take advantage of in a game like Ultimate Marvel 3, which already has so much technology and so much crazy stuff going on that it's exciting, man. I think the open-endedness of this engine kind of what makes this game great and frustrating at the same time. But it gets you to the point. It's motivation to keep going, to learn more stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about these glitches. Please check them out on the respective channels below for the folks that did discover them. If I inputted the wrong link for the video of the folks of the person that did not actually discover this said glitch, and I put the wrong hosted link, please let me know in the comments, and I'll gladly fix it, because I want to give props to the guys that actually find this stuff, as they really deserve it. But later on, I'm thinking a lot about the panel that I've had that took place for Ultimate Marvel 3 and Assist Me, and I had a lot of folks asking questions in relation to the online warrior. So what I want to do quickly here, and for anybody that's been watching or has been watching for a long time, you kind of know the teams that I play. And I like to sometimes switch things up, and I like to sometimes go back to my main teams and, you know, try to make things a little bit more fun for the viewing audience. I have been messing around with some other teams as of late in Ultimate Marvel 3, but I would like some suggestions. So here's the part where I come to the community to give me some suggestions about which team should I use next. And we're gonna take this one character at a time. Because making an adjustment with a whole team in like an online mode like Ultimate Marvel can be pretty challenging and very hard. So let's take it one character at a time. If you would like to see me use a single character, a single new character that you haven't seen me use in Ultimate Marvel 3, I'll tell you right now, the characters I probably use the most are Dante, Strider, Doom, and Deadpool, and Wesker to an extent. Those are probably the guys that I've used the most. If you want to see me use a different character in this roster, I'll consider it. Please leave the name of the character below, and if you guys already see the name of the character in the comments that you're suggesting, go ahead and thumbs it up so I can better identify which one it is and which one I should pay more attention to, because I will be going through these comments fairly shortly and getting into some more games. But for a lot of you guys that have been asking for the open lobby weeks for Ultimate Marvel 3, and we'll be hosting more open lobbies. We'll be getting some games in with some live commentary, putting the videos up on the channel here, and essentially giving anyone press that would like to be featured on a channel of fighting games that is just a celebration of the love of fighting games and the love of competition. But thank you all very much for watching. Once again, it's an interesting era in the age of a game like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I'm very glad it is still one of the hypest things around. Until next week, my name is Maximilian, and I'll see you guys next time.
Round one, fight! Get ready for losers, bracket scrubs! Doom's coming to town!